All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. This is going to be weird for you. I am Renee Wilson, and I am the Open Records Portal Administrator. Let me start off by going to our website. Here, so today I'm going to give you a demonstration of the Open Records portal. Feel free to comment or ask any questions in the sidebar. There should be a chat box there, and we will answer those questions. So let me just go ahead and get started. The Open Records portal, our URL is openrecords.utah.gov. On the home screen here, you can see only state agencies are active right now. In 2016, the portal will be expanded to include school districts, charter schools, counties, municipalities, and public transit districts. And then in 2017, we'll be adding local districts and special service districts. So to start with, I'm just going to walk through what a person would do in order to request a record. First, they click on the state agencies, or they can use the search box, either one. And here you see all of the departments, and if you click on the department, then you get all of the divisions underneath. Each of these agencies has listed the records officer. So if you go into your agency information here and see that it is incorrect or you need to fix something, please let us know and we will take care of that. So for requesting records for the archives, I'm going to click on this button right here, Request Records. And then the user will need to set up an account with Utah, which is very easy to do. It's just like setting up an account anywhere. This is the request form. At the top, you can see the information of the agency. So if it's not the right agency, the user can click to get someone else. And then this is the fun part here where they get to fill it out. So I'm going to request volunteer logs and database fields. I would like all volunteer logs and also the name of all the database fields in your database. User can put in a range here, and then once they have their account set up, they can put in an address to have it auto-populate when they request records. If they are requesting restricted records, they can say that they have the authority to view those records, or they're the ones who provided the information, any of those. And then down here is where they request how they would like to see these, if they just want to see them or if they actually want to copy and pay the fees, or of course if they would like a fee waiver, which I'm going to request right now, and then also an expedited response if they would like that. They can do that down here as well. And then the user clicks Submit Request. And the request is submitted. Once the request is submitted, an email will be sent to the records officer so that the records officer knows that they've received an email or a request. The time limit does not start until the records officer actually opens that request and looks at it. So this is the user dashboard, and they can go in and look at their requests from here and take care of them, or see what the records officer has done and see any other details. And now that is the user side. I'm going to show you the records officer side. So here we are signed in. When you get to the Open Records portal, you just click on My Requests, and it will ask you, if it asks you for a sign-in, then sign in with your agency email, and then it will show you your requests. So here you see we have 2 requests here for the archives. This information is sorted into these different fields that you can sort by if you end up getting like a lot of requests. If you would like to see previous requests that are completed, that is done right here under the advanced search. You change only open requests to no, and then apply filter. And then you will see all the requests that you have ever received. If you don't want to receive notifications every time that a request comes in, you can disable them here. But then you would not be notified if a request comes in. So there's that. Let's take a look at this request that I just submitted. Okay, I have a question here. Hold on. It says, when I click on request records, it loops me back to the openrecords.utah.gov page. Is that something goofy on my end or the server? That's a really good question. If you're already logged in, then it will take you just back to that page. So you're probably already logged in. And if you are a records officer, then you can't actually request records using your email that you use as a records officer, if that makes sense. So if you submit a request as a citizen using a personal email, then you can submit a request, but not as a records officer. Okay, so this is the request, the substance of the request here. At the top, you can see all the information about the request, everything that the person wrote. You can also see a couple options you have here. The first is to print the request. If you would like a PDF copy or a print copy. The second is to close the request, which you cannot actually close it until all the different portions are closed. I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then you can respond to the request outside of the portal. So if your agency has a specific way of processing requests or requires extra forms or anything that the portal doesn't accommodate, or you just prefer to do it outside of the portal, you can click Respond to Request Outside Portal. One note, before you click this button, I would recommend clicking the Print Request button so that you have a copy of the request before you close it using this. Because when you click Respond to Request Outside Portal, it just closes the whole request. All right, so that's all the request information. Here you can see the different responses that will need to be given, because you'll need to approve not only the records request, but the expedited request and the fee waiver request. And so each of these you can approve individually. Right now, the main request is selected, and you can see the details about that request here. I will like to point out a couple of things you can see here. First of all, you have the records officer. Each agency has a default GRAMA request person, and that person handles all the GRAMA requests. If you don't have a default GRAMA request officer and you would like to assign one, let us know. Otherwise, it just goes to whoever we have on file as the records officer. You can change the records officer here, and this is just for changing to a records officer within your own agency. So I'm going to select myself here and change it to me. And then I'm going to save it. And you can see, hooray, I'm the records officer now. I have another question that I'm going to hop to real quick. If I approve or deny a part of the request and need to change it back, can I? So if you click the wrong one, yes, you can. And I will show you how to do that in a moment. So in this section, you can change the records officer. You can also do something fantastic here, which is divide the request into parts. So if you'll notice, this records request is asking for two completely different things. So it's actually like two requests. So what I'm going to do is divide the request into parts, and then I'm going to say volunteer logs are one thing here. And then click add request. And you see here has been added the volunteer logs. So now that we've done that, down here at the bottom of the screen, you'll see all the actions that you can do for each of these responses, for each of these request portions. You can approve it, deny it, apply extraordinary circumstances, refer the request to someone else, and that one we will get into, apply fees, contact the requester, or add tasks or notes or logs. All right, so one more question. There are some requests for the agency that have not been looked at, and as the records officer, can you be notified via email when a request comes in anywhere in your agency? Are you talking about agencies that are not actually your office, but underneath your office? Or are you talking about your actual office that you are a records officer for? Right now, records officers should only see requests that come into their specific office and not requests that are for a lower or higher agency. Yes. And Marilee, we would have to go in and look at your agency and see who we have there and why it's not sending you an email. So yes, I will write your name down and take a look at that after. Yes, that is a good question. All right. So what I'm going to do now is show you what happens when you approve or deny a request. Approve is it's fairly straightforward here. So you enter in a message if you have a message, and then you can reply using any of these methods. You can send an email, you can do it by mail, you can say that they will just come in the office and look at it, or you can upload a file or link to a file online. Now, a couple notes here. One is that the file does have some limitations right now. The only files that actually work at the moment are PDF and CSV, comma separated value. So pick one of those, hopefully, and your file will work. And the limit right now is 30 megabytes, which has been argued up from 2. So 30 is a lot better than 2. And if we need to make it bigger, then we can go bigger than that too. But that's where it is right now. Once you select any of these and approve the request, an email will be sent to the requester saying that the request has been approved, and it will include this note that you have here that you've written, and also tell them how to get their records. So if you said by mail, then it will say that the records will be sent by mail. If you say in office, then it will say the records can be viewed in the office. Let me make sure I'm getting everything here. Okay. So right now I am going to just say you can view these in the office, and I'm going to approve it. The approve versus approve and close, these are the same thing. I'm trying to get them to be merged into one thing. Right now it's a system. You have to close it in the system, and so that is why this button is here, and hopefully it will disappear so that it does it all at once. Bing, right now. Oh, we need a description results. Oh no, let's see. Please come in and see our records. There we go. That's inviting. Approve and close. Okay. So here you see the volunteer logs. It was approved and the response is closed. And to answer the question earlier, if I need to change that, I can reopen it right here. Reopen response. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And then that is reopened. If it's past the time limit, you cannot reopen it. But if it's not, then you can. Now let me go into the denial screen. Again, once you write a message in here and click deny this request, the message will be sent to the requester along with the Chief Administrative Officer information, which should auto-populate. If not, then you can go ahead and fill that in. And if the request expires, so if it's not opened at all within 10 days, or if it is not answered within 10 days, then it will be considered a denial and the user will be sent an email with that information in it, and the records officer will also be sent an email with that information in it that request was denied. In most instances, the records officer does not receive an email for the denial. Let's see, deny request reason. So the volunteer logs are not records. I'm not sure I like that one. Let's do something else. Volunteer logs are, okay, well, you guys will have a much better description of the records than this is just the demo. So bear with me here. No, there we go. Okay. So I'm denying this request. I've denied that request and now it's closed. Let me show you the other things you can do here. If you have extraordinary circumstances, you can claim them here, just depending on whatever it is. So I'm going to click that, and then you will need to put in a description, detail why the records aren't available, and you are allowed to select the date that corresponds with the amount of time given in law extra to accommodate for your exceptional circumstance, extraordinary circumstance. So in this case, there's 5 days extra. And wow, this is giving me a lot of extra days, and that shouldn't be doing that. That's a little embarrassing on a demo, isn't it? Okay, well, we're gonna fix that. Anyway, I'll click this one then, because that's as soon as reasonably possible. There we go. And I'll select a date. This is the date when the records will either be approved, denied, or made available to the agency, not the requester. So you're not saying that you're going to make these available to the requester. It's just they'll be available to your agency. All right, so you can see the status here for the main request is extraordinary circumstances. You can change that status and complete it, or you can just approve or deny it while that status is on it. It doesn't matter. These other buttons, the refer button is for if you need to, if the records are not your agency's records, you can send the requester to a different agency. Now, this does not send the records request to the agency at all. It just tells the requester who to go to. So the requester will need to resubmit the request to the correct agency. And if it ever loads, I can show you. This is also where you will go if the records just don't exist, if they've already met their retention, if they don't exist for any other reason. There's an option on here, also freeform referral, just describe why they don't exist. So on here you can refer the person to the records officer, and you can search for specific people, or you can refer them to a government agency if you know the agency name and not the records officer, or you can just write in who they need to go talk to right there. The fees, there are two different kinds of fees. The first kind is the kind that is under the fees here, and it's basically materials fee. We have there the materials fee, and there's also a labor fee. So the materials fee here would be maybe for copies, and I'm going to say I have 50 copies, and they are 10 cents each. I'm going to add that fee. Once the fee has been added, it will show up here in the total fee at the top. And then you can go in and edit that fee or add to it or cancel it. The second type of fee is a labor fee, so it's under tasks because we assume you are going to be doing something. Descriptive title for the task, write in something that they will be doing. You can assign the tasks to different people. So if I want to choose someone in my office besides myself to give this to, I can do that. If I want to assign this to someone else in my office who is not a records officer, I can also do that here. And an email will be sent to them telling them that they have this task assigned to them. I can put in my billable rate. Let's put 20, that's a nice rate. You can put in a due date and description if you'd like to, but you don't have to. Oops. Let me just switch it back to myself. There we go. Okay. So here is the task, research. Once it's added in, I can go in and say that I have spent however many hours or minutes doing this. I've spent 5 hours doing this. And I can either save it or complete it, and it will update the total fee at the top of the page here. Now the fees that we have here, these are not something that you can pay through the portal. This is more just for your record keeping and for the requester to be able to see what it is that you are charging him or her. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. You can contact the requester at any time, and this is just sending an email to them. It just sends this exactly, nothing else. You can also add notes. If you would like to add a note that doesn't really fit anywhere else, you can do that. I'll show you that. It's very short and simple. This is a note. And now there's a note. Exciting. Yes. Okay. And then if you need to see the logs at any time, of course, you can go and see exactly what happened and who did what. The requester can also view some of this. The requester can view the logs and the tasks and the fees. And that is it at the moment. So that is overview of the portal. Let me show you a couple more things. First is the frequently asked questions here at the top of the page. There's information for records officers here. And if you have any questions that are not here or think of anything that you would like to be here, please let us know, because we are always adding to it and trying to make this as easy for you as possible. We do have a lot of changes that are in the works. So if you saw some things today that you thought, ooh, why are they doing it that way? Please let us know that too. And I can tell you, great that we already are trying to do that, or that's a great idea. Let me put that on the list. At the bottom of each page, you'll also see a link to the Help Center and Contact Us. You can contact us at any time with questions or comments. We love to talk to you and help you out with any problems that you may have. The Help Center is in progress. but it has these articles that you can read about all the different topics, and it's basically a how-to, so it will tell you how to do everything that you need to do. In the meantime, this right here in the Help Center, there's a reference sheet, and this was the handout that was given at the live training, and this is something that you can print out for quick reference to the various steps that are most common in the Open Records portal. So if you would like to download that, that could be a helpful resource. And does anyone have any questions? The recording is not exactly synced with what you are seeing on your screen, so you may be sitting here for a moment while you're catching up with me. All right, well, that is all that I have to show to you right now. If you do have any questions, I will be in the chat for a little while after. That doesn't close with the recording. So let me know if you have questions. And otherwise, thanks for tuning in and have a lovely week.